Coming up on AGWEEK TV, the Biden administration will allow summer sales of E15.
I'm Jeff Beach here in Castleton, North Dakota, where some residents are concerned about plans for a soybean processing plant.
How today's wild economics affects one of the region's important salvage, part, and scrap businesses.
We'll visit a diversified cattle operation in Minnesota.
Welcome to AGWEEK TV. I'm Emily Beal. Biofuels groups are welcoming a move from the Biden administration that will boost ethanol use. AGWEEK's Michelle Rook has more on this important decision.
On Tuesday, President Biden announced EPA would be making E15 available for summer use across the United States to help ease gas prices. The president made the announcement at the Poet ethanol plant in Menlo, Iowa. EPA for the first time is issuing a national emergency waiver allowing gas to be blended at a higher rate of 15% ethanol from June 1st to September 15th. Brian Jennings with the American Coalition for Ethanol says the emergency use waiver covers 20-day periods and will be issued closer to June 1st.
And this is going to require EPA officials to continually monitor the fuel supply situation, the fuel price situation, and we hope continue to invoke this waiver authority so we can indeed get through the 2022 summer driving season.
Jennings says this is a short-term fix and means the ethanol industry must continue to push for a legislative or administrative change to make year-round E15 permanent. The administration is also said to be considering a year-round waiver for corn-based E15 ethanol blends.
Thanks, Michelle. An early spring storm dropped more than 2 feet of snow in parts of North Dakota. The heavy, wet snow closed many roads, including stretches of both Interstates 29 and 94. But livestock producers may have had it the worst, as many are in the midst of calving. These are pictures and videos from farmers in western North Dakota. This one was taken 15 miles north of I-94 at Richardton. Rancher Dustin Hushka stayed in his truck to be near his cattle through the blizzard. You can see much more at agweek.com. Farmers gearing up for the planting season recently got some good news. The EPA has made a change to restore use of Enlist and Enlist Duo in 134 counties across the U.S. for the 2022 growing season. The label amendment was prompted by new data submitted to the EPA. It lifts Endangered Species Act bans on those herbicides in all counties in our region. SDSU's Paul Johnson says the change is welcomed.
This was a good deal to see this change back to a little bit more realistic than just blanking off counties over a insect that may or may not even be in them.
Johnson says many farmers had already made their plans for 2022 and had bought seed and lined up herbicide, so making the switch would have been costly to growers. A proposed soybean crushing plant near Castleton, North Dakota has drawn some controversy in the community. So the North Dakota soybean processors held meetings this week to answer questions. Jeff Beach was at one of them and joins us now with more.
The soybean plant is expected to crush more than 42 million bushels of soybeans a year. The plant is a joint venture between the Minnesota soybean processors and CGB Enterprises of Louisiana. Together they own North Dakota soybean processors. Representatives of the plant say a number of measures are being put in place to make the plant a good neighbor, and it will be a big economic boost to the area.
We have a track record of being good neighbors and working with our communities, and we look forward to working with this community as we go through this process.
Bill Hale is a retired farmer who serves on the Castleton Job Development Authority. He initially had some concerns about potential noise and odor from the plant and increased truck traffic. But he says his questions were answered with a visit to a similar plant in Brewster, Minnesota.
And I was fairly impressed with how there really wasn't any odor. It wasn't loud, and it wasn't causing a lot of truck traffic in town. That impressed me a lot.
A citizens group has formed to express their concerns about the plant. Castleton's Planning and Zoning Commission will decide on permitting later this month. Then the City Council will make a final decision.
Thanks, Jeff. The rising cost of farm equipment and parts, coupled with supply chain problems, has farmers doing more repairs. That's been a boon for ag equipment recyclers. Nicole Pates visited one of the region's biggest in this week's AgWeek cover story.
Meyers Tractor Salvage has been making things work at Aberdeen, South Dakota for decades.
I was just going to buy farm machinery for scrap, and it just evolved from scrap business up.
That was in the mid-70s. Paul Meyers was farming with his dad and working with his brother's auto salvage next door. Then Paul started buying used tractors.
We were already doing some mechanical work on the side, and it just evolved, and it kind of took off on its own.
By the 80s, Paul had mostly quit farming and was in the used parts business full-time. Today, he runs a company with his wife, Wendy, and sons, James and David, and about 20 employees. They've grown to be one of the upper Midwest's major recyclers of tractors, combines, and other equipment. The inventory lot has grown to more than 100 acres, and son David Meyers sees a solid future ahead.
It's not going away. There's always going to be machines. Machines are always going to get wrecked. They're always going to get broken. As long as the world still needs food, people are still going to need equipment to grow it.
The business is especially important in these days of supply chain problems and parts shortages.
Like one dealer told me a while back, is that we got the parts for our customers, but they're out in the ocean in a container right now. They might not get here for another month.
Significantly, the Meyers sell about 15,000 tons of scrap iron each year to smelters, mills, and foundries nationwide, and they sell recycled parts from tractors and combines across the country and beyond.
We're just a backwards factory.
So as certain farm equipment part prices rise or become unavailable, the salvage business has its day. For AgWeek, this is Mikkel Pates at Aberdeen, South Dakota.
You can read more in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Ahead on our show, 2 Minnesota cattle producers are making extra money by selling their high-quality beef direct to consumers.
Last year's drought really cut into yields for some growers. Couple that with high and rising fertilizer costs, and that can lead to real problems for growers. But there is a solution. AGWEEK products save you money because you use much less.
If the average price of what you're going to use in the AGWEEK products is anywhere from $12 to $15 per acre, you can compare that to standard fertilizers that would be up in that $50 to $60 per acre.
AGWEEK's efficiency comes through the use of nano-liquid technology.
But we've had proof of where farmers can see a bushel increase.
AGWEEK is unique in that it can be deployed as a delivery vehicle into micro and macronutrients and other crop protection products a grower is already using. It protects them in the patented AGWEEK nanoparticle. These tiny particles penetrate root and leaf tissue, improving absorption into the plant. Nano-liquid technology truly lets you use less and yield more.
It's fun to sit down with the producers and go through the details of what nanotechnology is all about.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
You can get the field results you want in varying conditions with the flexibility of the Summers VRT Renegade, featuring on-the-fly blade angle adjustment from 0 to 19 degrees. And if you want the simplicity of a Super Coulter with the ability to move a little dirt, you'll love the all-new Summers Super Coulter Samurai. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about North America's broadest line of tillage equipment and other products from North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
AgWeek TV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
This time of year, many in the agricultural community are thinking about the upcoming planting season. To talk with me more about this topic is Dr. Hans Kandel, an NDSU Extension agronomist. So as producers are heading into the upcoming planting season, what are some of the most important things they should take into consideration?
Well, the first thing, of course, is thinking about the variety that you're going to plant, because that is a major decision. And in our region, there are two things that farmers sometimes need to consider if they have the issue, and one is cyst nematode. Farmers need to pick a variety that is tolerant to cyst nematode. The second major one is einchloropsis tolerance, the most tolerant in the fields that has the highest IDC normally.
And in terms of seeding rate, why is that such an important thing for producers to think about?
In our short season, we need to have enough plants in the field to maximize our yields. So based on all the trials that we have done for a long time, we need to plant around 155,000 to 160,000 seeds to get about 150 plants in the field. And that maximizes our yield. The key point is to get those seeds evenly distributed. That means also that we need to think about the row spacing that go together. So if you have a narrow row spacing, then we will optimize our yields compared with wider row spacing.
And then another very important thing for producers to consider is the actual planting date.
If we can optimize our planting from that frost date till the first frost in the fall, we maximize the season. Now, we can plant a little bit before the typical frost date because it takes about 10 days before the crop is out. So we have found that you can gain about a third of a bushel per day that you can plant earlier in that ideal time frame in May. So every day that you delay in May, you lose about a third of a bushel. So it is very critical that we try to plant as early as we can.
Dr. Hans Kandel, thank you so much for your insight today. More and more farmers and ranchers are diversifying their operations to increase cash flow. I visited Four Hill Farms in northwest Minnesota, where they incorporated a vital addition to their farm about a decade ago.
You know, farming is life. It's a way of life. It's not just an occupation.
Jake Thompson and his brother Nathan are passionate about farming and raising cattle.
Come here, buddy.
They operate Four Hill Farms near Barnesville, Minnesota. They farm about 2,500 acres and they calve out about 200 cow-calf pairs as part of their registered Black Angus business.
Well, you're not going to do very well out there, bud.
To supplement their income, they sell the meat from about 50 animals a year for their freezer trailer. Meat supply issues during COVID helped boost their business.
Oh, we've probably been doing that for about 12 years. With COVID the last couple of years, it's really taken off again. So we've really kind of focused more in on it. I think it's become very important because people are more aware now. They really like to know where exactly their product, their meat, is coming from.
Jake says they've also developed a network of butchers to help them meet demand for their beef. He says the diversification helps them hang on as prices rise and fall.
So a lot of the beef producers in the state of Minnesota, majority of them have a job. This is supplemental income to their job. Why not diversify within the business itself?
Jake Thompson is also vice president of the Minnesota Cattlemen's Association. Coming up, we'll tell you about a product that brings saline soils back to productivity.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
For over 130 years, Farmers Mutual of Nebraska has been providing protection from the unexpected. Farmers and ranchers choose Farmers Mutual insurance coverage for their industry experience, prompt claim service, and unmatched financial strength. Experience an insurance plan that's customized for your operation. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has the storage, conditioning, and handling equipment to fit any size operation with a wide variety of options and accessories, including our patented Blockbuster auger to help break up blockages over the center sump gate, and a full line of mixed flow grain dryers with even heating, excellent efficiency, and expandable capacities. Protect your investment and market your grain. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with Superior Grain Equipment.
We have products that no other companies have. That gives us a bit of an advantage and a bit of an edge.
and provide some security to our customer base that we've been here, we're here to stay, and we want to still provide these new innovations to the customers today. It's cold granulated products where we're putting together multiple nutrients. We've got products in our Micro Essentials lineup that contain sulfur and zinc, and we also have products on our potash side which contain boron, which is a newer product for us, which is called Aspire.
Good work, good pay, and a good life. It's the Trans Systems way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Lets me live my way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. Trans Systems way. Good work, good pay, and a good life. It lets me live my way. It's the Trans Systems way. Good work.
Winter storms plagued the region this week, but how long can we expect these wintry conditions to linger? Here's John with our AgriWeather outlook.
General outlook will largely be dominated by the influence of the lingering effects of the big snowstorm which hit many areas of the northern plains this past week. Cool weather over that snow, and how long will that linger? How much of an effect will that have on the surrounding area, as I do anticipate a general warming pattern in the midsection of the country. Before we put these maps into animation, a word about the huge snowstorm in North Dakota, southern Manitoba, northwestern South Dakota, eastern Montana. This type of an outlook is usually pretty good at indicating future patterns and wet patterns and dry patterns and that sort of thing. One thing I can't do is a week or 2 weeks or even half a week in advance is know just how monstrous a storm like the one that hit North Dakota last week can turn out to be. One thing we can say is that with all that snow on the ground, it's going to take some time to warm things up again. Melting snow takes a lot of energy out of the atmosphere, and that's going to keep a lot of North Dakota cold. Not only that, we're continue getting a fairly active weather pattern. So it will remain cold to cool across the northern U.S. and seasonably warm in the south. The desert southwest, South Texas are getting typically warm. But as we start seeing ridging building up in the midsection of the country around the middle of this week, that warm weather will start coming northward. But it will do so over a snowpack. Now, by the end of the week, I do expect that the sub-freezing air will have vacated North Dakota. However, it will remain cool as we try to melt all that snow. That's as fairly hot weather. Temperatures in the 80s and even some 90s work their way up to about the southern limit of that snowpack, and that's about as far as it will get. The cool weather will win out because you have to melt the snow. But a fairly warm week and into the week setting up. Now, as we look ahead into the second week, this ridge of high pressure will shift a little bit east, but the general trend of the jet is forecast to be kind of expanding in its ridge across most of the United States. There will be one little system passing through, looks like a fairly weak one, so it looks like pretty warm weather and even enough warmth that over the next week or so, we should melt most of that snow that fell in North Dakota. Additional precipitation early in this week, Easter Sunday into Monday, and then again around midweek, there will be a couple of chances of rain and then rain mixing with snow, with showers to the south. The southwest will continue to be dry. Looking into the second week of this forecast period, I see generally a drier pattern underneath all that warmth in the United States to the south. We will likely have some precipitation into the northern plains over the second week and the Great Lakes area, but it would be mostly in the form of light rain and not a lot of organized heavy precipitation. The far Pacific Northwest will be getting some precip. The Southwest, for the most part, will not. So the general trends continue to be the lingering effects of all that snow.
AuctionBlock.com. First with online equipment auctions in 1999. First in worldwide registered users. AuctionBlock.com. Online farm, construction, and transportation equipment auctions every Wednesday. Sell with the leader. Call Auction Block today, 218-483-7880, or visit us online at auctionblock.com.
Since the inception of Vaderstadt, the spirit of innovation has led the company. We push the limits, providing innovative and reliable seeding and tillage solutions that simplify everyday life for farmers. We continue to reimagine the capabilities and technology behind farm machinery, providing customers with a perfect emergence while maximizing their yields. We look forward to growing together.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has the storage, conditioning, and handling equipment to fit any size operation with a wide variety of options and accessories, including our patented Blockbuster auger to help break up blockages over the center sump gate, and a full line of mixed flow grain dryers with even heating, excellent efficiency, and expandable capacities. Protect your investment and market your grain. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with Superior Grain Equipment.
It's going to be an interesting year in agriculture. We have already seen the markets trade to new crop highs and levels not seen in years. There is uncertainty around the 2022 growing season. Will drought impact production? How many acres will be switched? And will demand remain strong? Are you getting the information you need to make the right marketing decisions? With the changing market environment, maybe it's time to change how you approach your grain marketing. Let Martinson Ag Risk Management get you the news that matters and a marketing plan that suits your needs.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
Saline can leave parts of a field unproductive, but now there's a solution to help bring those areas back to life. An Arizona-based company is taking technology developed for golf courses and using it to take salts out of the soil. Rose Dunn has more on how a product called Calcine improves the soil and helps it grow crops again.
Too much calcium leaves soils unproductive and costs growers money. Land can become too saline from too wet or dry conditions, irrigation, or a number of other factors. But a product called Calcine can help solve that.
We saw Calcine begin to work in drier areas. We've been in real wet areas in the last several years too.
Jim Erickson of Erickson Custom Operations brought Calcine to this area about 6 years ago. It allows the calciums and the soil properties to delineate the salts out of the soil.
Releasing the natural nutrients and getting the crops to come back to life and getting the soil, first of all, to come back to life.
Gary Wagner farms in northwest Minnesota. His soil varies from heavy clay to sandy soil, and he's noticed the salts have gotten worse over the past 10 years.
Our experience is normally along roadsides, whether it be highway, putting salt on highways and that getting up in the fields, or satellite imagery. We looked at it. You can see exactly where the calcine was. We have more growth in those areas. We're becoming a believer.
Calcine not only brings saline or sodic soils back to life, Erickson says they're seeing growers save money in the face of rising input costs, especially fertilizer.
Calcine was designed to open up that ground. And in that process of opening up the ground, we're also learning what it's doing to release the natural nutrients that are in the soils, if it's nitrogen, potassium.
An added benefit is that Calcine warms the ground so growers can get in the field faster.
You can put it on any time. We have producers right now out on frozen ground that are out spraying it because it'll go down on the ground and be there and be ready for them before they go out to plant. We've seen the germination take place quicker as well because it does warm up the ground.
That can increase yields, and you can apply Calcine throughout the season.
Farmers are putting it down in row with their starter fertilizers, whether it's beans or corn or whatever. If it's wheat, small grains that are going down, they can go out and do spray applications with the Calcine on top of the soils through their post or pre-emerge applications combined.
Erickson warns Calcine is not an overnight miracle. It's a 3 to 5 year reclamation process. But he says growers can start to see a return on investment in their first crop year, not to mention a significant increase in the value of restoring unproductive land.
We want you to see this work. This isn't about spending money, it's about investing some money to see what you can get to come back again.
This is Rose Dunn for AGWEEK.
To learn more about how Calcine works, contact Jim Erickson at ECO at the number or email on your screen. Still ahead, we'll travel to southern Minnesota to learn the secret to better syrup.
At Advanced Grain Handling Systems, we're your full-service grain dryer and bin project partner. We'll handle everything from start to finish.
These guys are all in one. That was one of the big draws.
They were the general. They took care of the electrical. They took care of the cement, took care of everything.
Whether your next project is big or small, let our team help with it all. Visit advancedgrainhandling.com.
The team at North Star Ag is committed to quality and committed to you. We're not just a full-service dealer, we're farmers too, so we know you need the best machinery and services that'll keep you going all season long. We have the largest equipment inventory in the upper Midwest with a well-equipped parts and service department. So whether you need machinery tomorrow or parts today, stop in and experience what North Star Ag can offer on our website at northstar-ag.com or give us a call at 701-361-4790.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
Go beyond the headlines with an AGWEEK membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to AGWEEK and AGWEEK TV.
A farm in southern Minnesota is busy with an unusual crop this time of year. For just a couple of weeks in the spring, the AGWEEK family is busy producing their pure organic maple syrup.
The maple syrup is like drinking sunshine.
Jim AGWEEK says more sun last summer means a higher sugar content in the sap now. He says lots of sun is just one of the ingredients that makes their maple syrup special. The secret may be in the 100-year-old maple trees, the rich soil, or their process. They're one of the few who cook it at high heat over a wood fire. And he's proud of the syrup they produce.
We feel that our syrup has a different, unique taste to it. We feel there's some caramelization that's taken place with the sugars, so it gives it a unique taste. And we're actually marketing our syrup that it was done with a wood-fired evaporator.
Syrup isn't all they do. AGWEEK Family Farms produces certified organic grain, pasture-raised finished beef, raw honey, and a variety of vegetables. But time in the woods collecting sap to make high-quality syrup may be AGWEEK's favorite part of farming. You can even go see it being made and taste syrup fresh from the machine.
I've tasted a lot of syrup, and a lot of people have tried ours, and they all comment that this is the best syrup they've ever had, and it makes us feel good.
AGWEEK Family Farms can be found at farmers markets throughout Minnesota, and it's available in some stores around the region. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AGWEEK TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have yourself a great and safe week.